Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to our weekly vigil. And thank you for keep coming and being with us. This is a far from Jerusalem. Excuse me. I would like to share with you tonight a point of view upon the biggest disagreement within the Israeli society, civilian and political institute. In this point, as I understand it, uh, according to the continuation or stopping the war, both in the south in Gaza and in the north in Syria, those territories that held by Israel now in Syria. The difference between these two points of view is that the disagreement about continuing holding or occupying or fighting in Gaza has to do with this messianic religious people who have this, they call it a dream, we call it a nightmare, to build a new settlement within Gaza, ignoring all the reality that there are people living there. In the north, the disagreement has to do with security and more military point of view, because many people say that maybe it was right for Israel to take these territories because it's on the border. And after Assad went down, we didn't know who will sit on those borders. But to keep holding it is a big and dangerous that the whole situation will change. Meanwhile, all the Arab countries does not interfere, wait to see what Israel will do. So there are people here who believe that Israel has to leave these territories. So this is another point of view on what's happening here. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Efrat, for bringing those two specific issues. This week, I have no special contribution, except of a few, feelings I have around what we are going through and what we are witnessing and what we probably are not witnessing. When I look at whatever information we have around Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Turkey, Iran, and the big powers that run the world, all kinds of questions come up to my mind while I'm trying to keep as balanced and as discriminative as I can. And I'm not doing very well at it anyways. To focus on Syria, for example, there are so many agendas, so many different factions. Who is cooperating with whom and who is against whom? Nothing is predictable. Interests are shifting at an extraordinary speed, and it is so hard to keep track of. And we seem to live in an apotheosis of glamour, like in a dark cloud that I feel strongly, and I'm not the only one, that we are beginning to pierce. but it's there, very strong. Will rulers ever serve the interest of their people instead of serving their own greed or gluttony for control and domination, and inflict such separation between people? I am left with those question marks this week, not being able to share much, but looking very much ahead for the new year of 2025. And especially at this split moment, looking forward to enter with you, friends, into meditation. And Uta, thank you for the meditation to come. And Happy New Year.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, in this time of confusion and shifting, constant shifting, let us do our stable work. Thank you, really, for all of us to make this effort, to keep this effort up. I believe it's one of the best things that we can contribute in this shifting world at the moment. Okay, so let us start to settle into our body. Just breathing, touching base with our inner center. Grounding with the earth. Feeling our heart pulse. And bringing our awareness into the center of the head. And remembering that we are a soul in incarnation. Coming together now in the group heart. Feeling the group heart pulsing. Resting for a moment in this safe space. And gently let our minds join telepathically, linking into our unified field that is becoming more and more stable from week to week. Standing together as souls in the will to peace. And in communion with all the other soul-guided servers around the planet. Being part of this one planetary server. And opening now to come into vibratory alignment with the higher co-workers who guide this work. Sensing how our group heart is tuning to the vibration of their grace, of all-inclusive love. And sensing our group mind fine-tuning to their clear, discerning light. Taking now our stand at the midway point between the higher forces and the Middle East below. And looking down, let us first of all get an overall sense of this large, volatile field of consciousness, the Middle East, West Asia, a sense of these powerful forces which at the moment are specifically concentrated in Syria, the local, regional, and global forces. Like being pulled there magnetically, sensing this vortex in the global context, like an inflammation in the body of the planet, in the body of humanity. So many energies. So much fire. Let's concentrate first on the mental plane. Get a sense of these many different agendas that are vying for influence. On these different levels, global, regional, and local. And see or imagine how this mental friction stirs the emotional forces of the area into intense activity, intense agitation, emotional instinctual forces, and how they in turn become like eruptions, turning into physical violence. Get a sense for a moment how the population struggles to live their lives within this dangerous vortex. Not only in Syria, also in the neighboring countries, this tension is so much felt. And as we watch this, let us release all judging, all thoughts of right and wrong. And just taking a moment to contain this volatile situation with what we could call scientific compassion. And now, from our midway point, let us turn our eyes upwards towards the divine plan, towards the intended design for the Middle East. Being aware of our higher guides and co workers holding us as we align upwards, opening to a wider vision. Filling our group awareness with the vibration, with the quality of this intended design, even if we cannot grasp it mentally. Just holding the existence, the fact that it exists in our group awareness. And bringing it now into relation with the condition on the ground. Holding these two, the intended design and the outer condition, at the same time in our group awareness. Being like a connecting link. It helps to set up a magnetic relationship between the potential and the actual. And see energies flowing between them. As above, so below. Holding this continuity, see and sense a shaft of pure golden white light, broad and brilliant, flood West Asia. See a huge column of light pouring through all planes. Hold this column steady in the will to peace. And see soul light flooding the mental sphere of the Middle East. Visualize the mental forces in the area aligning to an inclusive soul vision. Every human life is sacred. We all come from the same source, and we will all return to that same source. Holding this inclusive vision stable on the mental plane for this area. And now see soul light pouring into the astral plane of the Middle East, touching hearts with grace, soothing, pointing towards tolerance and temperance. Gently pointing towards the way back to trust. Trust in basic human goodness. And see the light now pouring through into the etheric physical plane of the Middle East, penetrating into the earth, working through these old separative patterns, continuing the disintegrating, dissolving process. And we call on the higher forces to help with this cleansing, releasing, liberating process. And we stand witness to this necessary destruction and suffering. We know it is necessary, and we know it will play itself out towards eventual harmony. And let us hold this knowing that the solar plexus destructive fire will eventually rise and become the fire of love in the human heart. And let us affirm this as we sound now the great invocation in Hebrew and in Arabic.
מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם, ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מהמרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם. תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים ומשרתים. מהמרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, תוגשם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.
من نقطة النور في العقل الإلهي ليشع النور في عقول الناس وليهبط النور إلى الأرض. من نقطة الحب في القلب الإلهي ليتسرب الحب في قلوب الناس وليرجع معلم الكون إلى الأرض. من المركز الذي تعرف منها إرادة الله لتقود الغاية إرادة الناس البسيطة، تلك الغاية التي يدركها المعلمون ويخدمونها. من المركز الذي ندعون بالجنس البشري لينتج تسمين الحب والنور ويختم على الباب الذي يقيم به الشر، ليجدد النور والحب والقوة التسمين على الأرض. الله أمين. أوم. أوم.